And we're live. There we go. We're all enjoying ourselves so much we forgot to press the live button. Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon or good evening, depending on whether you're watching this live or you're watching on repeat. I'm Jamie Radford. I'm the founder and the CEO of the Accounts Payable Association. I always forget to do that, introduce myself. In a second, I'll ask each of our guests to introduce themselves. But just a quick synopsis of what we're going to talk about today. It's the official launch. It's March the 1st. Anybody get proposed to yesterday, or anybody got proposed yesterday? It was the leap year, wasn't it? 29th. Well, I'll ask our guests in a second. But it's the official launch today of the APA Key Influencers, and we'll go through today what that is, how you nominate, whether you self-nominate or from somebody else, and more importantly, the benefits of being a member and being an influencer for 2024. So without further ado, I'm going to ask each of my guests to introduce themselves. So Jude, would you mind introducing yourself, please?
I'd love to. So my name's Jude. I'm an accounts payable manager working for Norton Rose Fulbright, which is a city law firm. Our business is very service focused. It's client driven. Clients are our bread and butter. So we don't work a lot with purchase orders or anything like that. We're a little bit different in the AP space. But as far as the influencer community goes, I have never felt anything other than welcome.
There you go. Thank you, Jude. And Diane, could you introduce yourself, please?
Good morning, everybody. I'm Diane Bamford, currently head of purchase ledger here at Radius Limited, which is a vehicle solutions company. I've been involved with accounts payable since 1989 and have been privileged to share my passion for it with a lot of people.
Thank you, Diane. And Yvonne, could you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. I'm an accounts payable manager for CTD Tiles. Been in role for 1 year now, but I've actually been a member of the APA for quite some time, and I've actually been an influencer for 5 years, and it's really helped shape me as a person, understanding what I can do and having a community that is there to support me.
Perfect. Thank you, Yvonne. And Kat, could you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, everyone. I'm Kat Moy. I'm the head of education for the Accounts Payable Association.
Thank you, Kat. And lastly, but not least, Phil, could you introduce yourself, please?
Morning, everyone. My name is Phil Spence. I'm the founder of management consultancy 2905. I've been in the shared services space now for about 15 years and have been a key influencer for, I think, about 4 years now.
So thank you all for introducing yourself. And the reason for letting you introduce yourself is because you're all guests and you're special guests of the show today. You're all influencers. You've been influencers for a number of years. And what we're going to do is talk about today is what the benefits are, how you nominate, but more importantly, what it means to you and your organization and also the profession and industry at large. So let me just give you an overview of the nomination process. I won't go into masses of detail because I'm going to share my screen in a second. But ultimately, each year, the Accounts Payable Association award a place to individuals who are the most influential in the profession and the industry from around the world. So we do have members of the influencer community in North America, from Europe, from Australia. We have them all over the place. And this sort of the context of what it takes to become an influencer is lots of different key areas. So you don't have to be on stage talking all the time, but what you have to do, if you possibly can, is to try and make a difference. It can be within your own team. It can be the community at large. It's anybody and everybody that ultimately wants to try and succeed and push the industry and the profession forward. So there is a set of criteria which we ask people to go through. So there's a scorecard, and we'll share that in a second in terms of how you actually sort of go, what the 6 core elements are of going through the scorecard itself. But before we do that, and I share the screen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask our special guests to tell us a little bit about one, how they sort of got nominated. Did they self-nominate, or was it somebody within our team that nominated them? But really importantly, what it's meant to them in being part of the influencer community. So Jude, I'm going to start with you because it's the first. You're the first person on my screen. Tell me a little bit about the nomination process and what it's meant to you and your organisation about being an influencer.
Sure. So a little bit like Yvonne, I think you you and I hooked up, so to speak, and you put me forward for an influencer about 4 or 5 years ago. So I've stayed with it, and I think particularly during the pandemic, it was quite it was quite a difficult time. I think, you know, I felt very isolated. I was building a new team at the time. That was a real challenge, but just having that little influencer piece suddenly became not little anymore. It was really big. And I remember we had an AP appreciation week, and sitting on that as an influencer, that was really really important. And I just feel that there is such a terrific sense of community about what we do as influencers. We've got various media to communicate through. I love the WhatsApp group. I think that's been the biggest icebreaker for influencers ever. So now when I've gone into events, I think, oh yeah, I've seen your name, I know you. So I think it's just that real sense of community. In terms of my organisation, it's really quite difficult sometimes to get the profile of the AP team raised, but we've turned inwards. We've made sure that we are properly trained. We've all done our AP technician training. Whole team is, you know, on point, and they provide a really, really good service. So yeah, that's my experience of influencing, and actually what you can draw from it and what you can put into it.
Thank you, Jude. And I totally agree. I think with all your points there, I think it's, the WhatsApp community, by the way, I mean, you've got to be in the know. If you're in the WhatsApp group, it keeps you busy, keeps you on your toes. Let's put it that way. So, Diane, similar question, you know, how did you get nominated, and what's the benefits that you've had for yourself and your organisation?
Well, I've been privileged to become part of the accounts payable LinkedIn page when you first set it up quite a number of years ago. And I was also privileged to be on the very first list of 50 influencers, which was the first list that was out. So that's how long. So I've basically been an influencer for the Accounts Payable Association since it was founded. But what I enjoy is it's things like the conference when you're wearing your yellow lanyard and gold lanyard, and people will actually make a beeline for you to come and ask questions. You can then share your passion for accounts payable, ignite their passion, and then they want to then go on and become influencers if they can. So you've got that connected circle. So that's what, you know, for me, that's one of the big benefits of being an influencer. You can actually influence other people to become passionate about accounts payable and then become influencers themselves.
Yeah, and I think you're right, Diane. I think we introduced the gold lanyards a couple of years ago at the conference, and I was inundated with people coming to me and going, well, firstly, why have they got gold lanyards, and how do I get one? You know, how do I become an influencer? And it's because, Diane, you've been in accounts payable as long as I have, actually. You know how to get your confidence and your voice in a transactional world is quite a challenge. And what's lovely to see is there's so many people now that are doing this, like lives. You know, would anybody have thought that we could have all collectively got together in a live session, live in front of thousands of people, and then on conferences and smaller venues? And I think that's what the influencer community does as well, doesn't it? It gives people that confidence to try and step forward, not only professionally, but in their personal lives as well.
And I'm now fortunate that I've got a passionate team of managers who are really into accounts payable. So as Jude said, come AP Appreciation Week, we're going to go all out in this company, putting up posters and everything. I've even got toppers made for cupcakes of the AP logo so that we can really push the boat out in terms of getting AP out there.
You've heard it, Kat. Listen, I hope you're making notes on all this. Diane's absolutely, you know, she's set the bar now. This is it. You know, we're all going to try and compete with Diane. But thank you for that, Diane. Yvonne, similar question. So, nomination and what benefits you and your organisation have got from it.
So I was nominated by the APA themselves 5 years ago, and I think for me, and I think it's probably something that everybody else has probably felt over the last years, is the fact that there never was anywhere that we could have a voice. And I think there wasn't the community that we've got today. And we've got this place now that we've got that safe environment to support each other, share knowledge, deal with training as well for our teams. And I think for me, it's been really important that there is that place for us now. And you know what? I'm really proud to be part of this community, which is fabulous. And I think back to Jude's point about the WhatsApp group, and I think everybody's actually, it is the place to be. The amount of stuff that we talk about and support that we get from each other is unbelievable.
I think you're right, actually, Yvonne. And do you know the other thing? It struck me the other day that, you know, I'm very fortunate. I go around and meet lots of people, lots of organisations, and I try my best to try and raise the profile and the voice. But the amount of organisations I go to and I bump into influencers and people senior in the AP and payable space, and a lot of people actually in interview processes are actually mentioning they're also an influencer. And when FDs, CFOs go, what's that? You know, so firstly, who are this mob called the Accounts Payable Association, which they're very proudly go, yeah, well, it's the professional body for a payable space, you know, etc. What's phenomenal is that they go, okay, and also I'm an influencer. So it's pride and place on their CVs. It's front, you know, it's front and center. And then I was at an organization earlier this week where a CFO said to me, how do I become an influencer? And I said, well, firstly, do you understand anything about payables? And secondly, it's not like the old days of Blue Pizza where you get a badge. You have to earn it. You really do. You have to put the effort and the work in. So, yeah, look, I totally agree with Yvonne. I think it's just the community side is absolutely amazing. Don't get me wrong. And I think we all sort of support each other. But actually the value that you all bring and the roadmap that you give to the Accounts Payable Association is totally invaluable. All of your combined experience is something we could never, ever do on our own. So we appreciate what you do, to be honest. So Phil, lastly but not least, before I go to Kat and ask her view, what's your view on being in sort of an influencer, and what has it meant for you? And now in your new role as a consultant, how is that helping you go forward?
Yeah, I think for me, Jamie, I joined about 4 years ago, and the organisation I was with at that time was going through, you know, a transformational exercise within the accounts payable arena, and you know, being a key influencer and having that access to the WhatsApp group and that group of other influencers, you generally have the idea as to what the right steps are in doing some transformational activity. But even when you have a doubt, uncertainty, or you're coming across problems that you've not encountered before, you have this vast bank of knowledge of people who have been there themselves, they've got themselves out of the problem that you're navigating, and are able to give really critical and crucial pieces of information that you're able to apply within your own organization, within your own project or your own transformation journey. And that really is invaluable, because you're not talking about one or two people. You know, there's about 100 people on the influencers list, so it's a phenomenal bank of knowledge that you're able to tap into. And as you're going through the transformation exercise in your own world, having that reassurance of people saying, oh, that's a great idea, you're on the right path, keep going, really, really helps from, you know, your own personal development and being able to then radiate that across to your team, talking with confidence about what's being performed and why. It really is invaluable, and has served me well over the last few years, and for many more to come, I hope.
Thank you, Phil. And I totally agree. I think that, you know, yes, look, the WhatsApp group, yeah, you know, if you're not in it, you don't know. But the reality is, you ask a question into that WhatsApp group or into the community at large, you know, to the 100+ influencers, you absolutely get lots of support. Never have I seen anybody, you know, sort of, it's never a disrespectful area. It's very supportive community, but it's almost as though you just share experiences. You share the good and the bad, but actually come up with solutions, which very rarely do you get in a finance community. It's very quite guarded, but the influence community is just such a supportive network. So the days when we sort of started to create the community and I mean, in a second, when I introduce Kat in a second, the whole purpose of the influencer award, it is a physical award. You know, this is a recognition for each of you in your individual accomplishments of what you've given to the industry, but actually what you get back from it is just as important, which is that sense of sort of belonging, that community, and the answers to a lot of the challenges. Because what we find as myself and Kat go around and meet lots of our members is you do become a little bit siloed, don't you? You know what you know within your own organization, and actually sometimes you need to understand what's going on in the industry, the profession, and whether it's automation, technology, whatever it might well be. Having that third person to support you and that group of people absolutely is invaluable. So Kat, look, you've sat there very quietly. Now you're gamer term gamekeeper, but in terms of, you've been on both sides. So you've been, a member of the Accounts Pub Association. You're now head of education. The downside to that, Kat, is you can never win Accounts Payable Manager of the Year anymore at the awards. The positive is you now take front and centre, you lead the community in terms of all things education. Tell us your view from being nominated, and actually, more importantly, from your side, because you see the community from within the Accounts Payable Association.
So as Jamie said, I've been on both sides, and I believe the first time I ever spoke to Jamie was because he called me, because when the influencer list opened that year, not only did I self-nominate, but you actually had nominations from other influencers for me, and it warranted a personal phone call from Jamie Radford himself. Check that out. I bet you didn't remember that.
I can't remember.
And so for me, kind of working up here in the Northeast, in AP, it was nice to kind of find a community of people who were as passionate about it as I was. It was great to sort of see my team sort of slowly start to question, well, what's an influencer, and well, how do I get to do this, and how do I get to go to an event, and what do you do, and what do you talk about? And now coming to the other side from the educational perspective, I can throw a couple of topics out in, whether it's WhatsApp group or via email, and ask our influencers, like, which way do you want me to go with this? And if there is questions that I don't understand, because again, like Jamie said, if I haven't worked in that industry and it's industry specific, having the influencers to sort of say, listen, I don't know the answer, can someone help me? And again, whether it's especially WhatsApp, you get about 20 notifications in the space of about 20 seconds. Everyone can tell you the answer, and I'm like, excellent, okay. It's just been really invaluable. It's going to be very strange on this side last year, so I don't know if people have seen my posts over the years. I'm going to save a fortune on APA branded stuff, similar to Diane. But if anyone wants me to come and referee a game of AP Pong at their organisation that week, I'm down. We've got to bring back AP Pong.
Well, look, thank you, Kat. Below, hopefully, when I've clicked that button, you'll see a link. So this link, as you see below, is APA-influencer.scoreup.com. So we'll share this in the show notes, and we'll share this to the community at large. This is how you nominate. This is the process of nomination. So if you believe that you deserve or you warrant a place on the influencer community in the index for 2024, take the score up. Basically, it's very quick. It's 20 odd questions. It's all about self-reflection. It covers a myriad of areas, and I'll show you the website in a second. But that, for a start, that's how you do it. You click that website link. It takes you through a series of questions, but at the end of it, you get a report, and it tells you where you are on your influencer journey. So it scores each area, and it gives you an average score, and then it gives you a benchmark of where you might need to go. So what I would definitely suggest is, even if you think you might not be quite ready for the influencer community, take the score up. Take it anyway. One of the things we're trying to do this year is we've had, as you can hear from many of the influencers on today, we've had a community of people that have been with us 5, 6, 7 years and plus. We're trying to continually bring in new people that we can then support, people that might be at the early stages of their career, some people that actually really do want to try and make progression. And that's the idea. So the Score app is to not only assess where you are, but also potentially get support from the 100+ influencers that we have in the community. So that's the website address. Let me share my screen. 2 seconds. There we go. I think I pressed that one. This is where it gets technical. It goes all wrong now. Right. Hopefully you can all see this. There you go. So when you land on the website page, you'll be greeted with this screen. You can click the button there, which is take the score up, and it takes you through a process. I won't click that just yet. But But these are the 4 areas that you'll be sort of recognized against. So the first area, the questions are all about influence. So again, and I stress this, you don't have to be a public speaker, you don't have to be on stage, all that sort of stuff. Your influence could be within your own organization, or you're trying to influence. So absolutely, the questions are very geared up around what you're trying to achieve in your own careers and alike. The recognition area, as all the influencers have just said, way back when, 7-8 years ago, before we started the organization, recognition was a real challenge, but we're getting there. We're still not quite where we want to be. So the recognition part is about you being recognized as an individual, your own department or organization being recognized, and us as a profession, as a community, be recognized. So again, there's a bunch of questions around that. There's an area of education, which is close to Kat's heart, and that's more about how you train, you support, you might sort of lead, you may influence others in terms of education, you might mentor. These are all key areas of what the educational area covers. And then the last part is what we call advocacy. And again, all of the influencers on the call today will have attended the very lucrative and a very swanky House of Lords. And we've been there for a few years now. And each year, come the end of the year, we attend the House of Lords and we create the roadmap for the profession and the industry, the global profession. And we get together and we call it the Advocacy for Change. So no, we're not lobbying. We're not trying to make government policy and change. What we're trying to do is give the roadmap to the masses. So all of our influencers get invited to things like the Advocacy for Change of the House of Lords. And as I say, the only thing you need to do from this point of view, it was just really a snapshot, is click take the scorecard, fill out your details, pop yourself down. There's a short video here. I won't click it because I think it's the awards video. And again, we'll ask the team in a second about the awards, because the awards are all part of the same thing. We all get recognized during our conference and awards. There's a short video. And then ultimately, there's a little bit before you take the scorecard about the sort of things that we will then help and support you with, which is things like expertise and knowledge, impact and influence, authenticity, passion, best practice. We talk about this a lot in the community about what best practice should be. There is a real trust and credibility in that community as well. And then that last thing is advocacy for change. So let me just stop sharing that. Look at that. Already, I can see I'm getting links coming through. People are already taking the scorecard. Can you believe that? So how cool is that? People are watching and taking the scorecard. You're supposed to be watching us. So we do encourage you, and I'll put that link down the bottom again, so people can see that. So look, I'm very aware it's month end, could be year end, month end. So we'll keep it short, sharp. So we're trying to get that 9 o'clock deadline. The other thing that I wanted to mention, that I think, a lot of the team today mentioned, that we do this AP Appreciation Week. So the Accounts Payable Appreciation Week is something we've done for many years, and it's to highlight and push the industry and our profession up, so we all feel that we're aligned to the other professional bodies, etc. But we say we make the air go blue. We do it for all the right reasons, and as Diane said, it's a bit of laugh. We do lots of photos, cake baking, videos. But what we do, actually, we've done for the last few years, we've run a forum, a sort of a mini conference forum, and this year no different. On the 15th of May, we're doing something similar. And we're going to run a leadership and influence forum event in Birmingham at the IET event space, I think it is, which is an auditorium. And it's exclusively for our members and our influencer community. And the idea is not only to get the most influential people together, but actually we're going to do a formal award ceremony. So anybody and everybody that's put themselves forward, gets nominated, and are successful to go and become an influencer for 2024, you'll have your own formal award ceremony as well. So we're gearing up, lots of stuff going on, which we can't tell, it's super secret. So we've got all that plans for 15th of May. And then as we roll forward to the back end of the year, we've got the conference, which again, as I think it was Diane said, we will then hopefully have all our influencers there with the gold lanyards and the pin badges. Remember, we all get the key influencer pin badges, which there's lots of excuses for this morning, everybody, about why they're not wearing their pin badges. I don't believe any of them, to be honest. But again, this is something we ask people to wear the lapel badge, which is the key influencer badge. And as you go around organizations, you can then absolutely wear that as pride of place to explain to others you're part of that community. And I do it all the time. everywhere I go, people straight away look at my suit badge. What's that? And then I have the pleasure of explaining what that's all about. So remember, influence community down there. I'm going to ask each of our influencers to give me some final words because we've got 5 minutes because I'm trying to keep it to the 9 o'clock deadline as we've got things to do. Diane, any final words from yourself?
Well, unfortunately, I won't be here for the conference this year, but I'm sure it's going to be great. But I've definitely got it in my diary already for the 15th of May. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be another fantastic event by the APA.
Thank you very much, Diane. And Phil?
Yeah, very excited for the 15th of May. Anything APA conference related is always going to be a great event. And the unveiling of the new influencers will be a fantastic moment in this year for sure.
Thank you, Phil. And Jude?
I'd say come and join us. You won't regret it. It's a wonderful community to be part of, and just to share everything from best practice to how you're feeling to today's really difficult and I've got this problem, and as we've said, someone is always there to help and support.
Thank you, Jude. And Yvonne, what's your views?
Oh gosh, there's so many things that you can say about the APA. It's just the greatest place to be in relation to accounts payable. I think for me, it's about the networking. It's about having somebody there to support you as well. So if you get the opportunity to join, do it. Take it with both hands.
Perfect. Thank you, Yvonne. And Kat, come on, give us some words of wisdom.
Yeah, APA is the place to be. Like I said, the community at large have been incredibly supportive of me as I've taken on this new role, and I hope will continue to be when I have many nervous breakdowns, because apparently this event in May is going to be great. I haven't started working on it yet, but it's going to be great. So if anyone wants to join some panels, I might as well do a cheap plug while I'm here. Drop me a note, let me know. I've got 3 panels on the go, so plenty of opportunity to speak. And AP Appreciation Week, AP Pong, let's do it.
Look, we've had loads of comments. My sincere thank you to all of our influencers joining us this bright and early this morning. I know you've all got things to go off to. One final thing from me, not only is the influencer score app being launched today, we do have the individual membership, the professional membership, which sort of unofficially launched last week. And we haven't made a big deal about it. We're going to talk about it next week. Myself and Kat are going to jump on. And we've had a bunch of people already sign up and join, which is phenomenal. And we really appreciate that. We're still pulling bits together, so it's not a completely finished product. But what's phenomenal is that people are joining. So if you do take a quick sneaky look at the AP website, you will now see a professional level on the membership page. And we will, from next week, be encouraging all and sundry to come and join us if you possibly can. And we'll explain the benefits. Thank you so much to all our guests today. Thank you for everybody who's watching. We've got so many comments. I was going to post them all, but it was just so many of them. As always, thank you. We encourage you to come and do the Score app. Thank you all. And we will speak to you all again next week. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.